If you can believe this, I've been a cyclist for over 35 years now. I started training and racing in my early teens in the days before clipless pedals. And when you've been doing this as long as I have, you tend to find a few shortcuts that make all the difference. Homemade imbrication is one of my all-time favorites. You can link to my severely underviewed video about how to make your own here. And I'm also a big fan of using bacon grease to silence creaky bike parts, but that's probably a whole other video. A few years back, I started to notice that Amazon Prime had tons of inexpensive options just 2 or 3 days away, and I started to experiment a little. And eventually, I honed in on 5 things I simply can't live without, and I really won't buy anywhere else. First up is latex, vinyl, or nitrile gloves. The vinyl option is around $18 for 100 gloves. And aside from being perfect for working on greasy drivetrains, they're also great for keeping your hands clean when you apply that imbrication you just made for yourself. They're also great for about a million other household chores like cleaning up after your dog or even working on your car. Another great hack I've found is one that's pretty obvious: Gatorade. Look, I love the pricey hydration options from Scratch Labs, Hammer, Goo, and all the others. But even with my industry discount, that stuff's pretty expensive, and you don't get a lot. At the time of this video, the price for a 51-ounce canister of orange Gatorade powder is $5.87. I mean, at that price, you don't have to be stingy with it when the kids want some electrolyte replacement. And yeah, I'm aware there's a whole dextrose versus glucose argument here. But for me, in the past few years, simple Gatorade has worked just as well as the more expensive stuff. Speaking of sticking with it, let's talk about super glue. It's great to have around the house for a variety of reasons, as you know, but I use it for one purpose specifically: repairing sliced tubeless and tubular tires. It takes some trial and error, and it doesn't always work on tubulars, but I glued up about a 1 centimeter gash on my Vittoria Rubino Pros that held for over a year and outlasted the life of the tire. How do you do it? Well, it's pretty simple. You take the tire off the rim, of course. You drain any sealant and clean the tire with water, and then dry it off. I usually set the tire out in the sun for an hour or so, and once it's fully dried, I pinch both the inside and the outside of the tire between my fingers and drop a liberal amount of glue into and around the slice. You'll have to hold the rip together until the glue starts to cure, but once it's dry, you can put it back on the rim and air it up. If the tire beads up without issue, then you're good to go. I usually let it sit for a few hours or at least overnight and ensure that it holds air before I refill it with sealant. And while we're on the topic of maintenance, let's talk about bar tape. If you've never searched for this on Amazon, give it a try. You can find literally anything from Supercast to Data, often in colors you can't find anywhere else. But the big revelation for me was the cheap Chinese stuff. I've had a double wrap of this $12 Zucca brand on my R5 for the last 2 years, and it's awesome. There's a nice silicone web sitting on top of a padded cloth-like foam, and at that price, I can afford to change out both rolls a few times a year. Poke around on Prime and check out Zucca and Kingou, Kingou. I've used both extensively and would put them up there with any of the top brand names. Okay, so the fifth and final thing is a little different for me and probably something none of you will see coming. A 5-pack of simple, white, breathable tech t-shirts. For between 30 and 40 bucks, you can get 5 bike jersey weight t-shirts that you can wear all day, every day, on and off the bike. I actually backed into this discovery because I grabbed some to wear around the house this summer, but when I got my new Arundel handlebar bag, I realized I didn't need jerseys with pockets anymore. And yet, brands like Fox and Giro make similar products, so it's not a revolutionary idea, but for basically $7 each, I think they're perfect for anyone who's building a cycling wardrobe or is just tired of buying $200 cycling jerseys. I usually threw mine on over a set of bibs with no base layer, and as long as it didn't get crazy hot outside, they worked really, really well. And as an added bonus, when I walked into the coffee shop, I didn't look like a superhero with tap dancing shoes who forgot his cape. Now, full disclosure, I'm in the Amazon affiliate program. So when you click the links below, it helps out the channel. Before you go, please drop me a line with your favorite cheap cycling hacks in the comments below. Okay? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.